Hello everybody, Coach Mac talking. MLB The Show 19, starting a new franchise finally with the roster Minor League 19 made from the Operation Sport community. So basically we are going to play with the Miami Marlins. Why the Miami Marlins? For two reasons. Number one, they are a team playing in the National League, which means there is no delivery hitter. And after playing last year with MLB 18, exclusively DH AL team with Oakland Athletics, I'm looking to basically manage a little bit through the NL League conference, basically to manage the substitution and the complexity of sometimes you put a reliever but you're forced to switch, I think, to take him out of the lineup because you have to have a substitution. I would like to manage that a little bit and see if it really makes a difference. Some people in the baseball community pretend that it's not really much strategy and that the DH should be used across the league, across the major league, I mean. Some other want to keep the traditional pitcher in the lineup. So I'm curious to see if it really affects the way you manage game and how you play through the innings. So the second reason we go with Miami Marlins is obviously the Miami Marlins, because it's a team which has really one of the weakest, I think the weakest roster overall. They are low in terms of budget. I think it's the lowest budget in MLB The Show. It's a team which has no talent. If you think about the Marlins, 3 years ago they had Drew Stanton in the lineup. They had who now play for the Yankees. Voilà. I'm going to see if I stop. Yeah, Giancarlo Stanton. So yeah, 93 overall. They had Christian Yelich, who is now with Milwaukee Brewers. They had Ozuna, who is where is Ozuna? Did we lose Ozuna? Oh no, sorry, he's not with, he's with the Cardinals. Apologies. Cardinals, Saint Louis. Yes. Voilà, Marcell Ozuna used to play for Miami. So Yelich, Ozuna, they had second base D. Gordon, who is now with the Mariners. Yeah, they had, of course, one of the best offensive catcher in the team, JT Realmuto, just traded this past off season. And if you take the Marlins roster, out of all of these trades, they don't get much. So they now have Lewis Brinson, who they got from the Brewers. They got Manuel, and more recently with Realmuto trade, they got I think an excellent prospect in terms of pitching. It's Sixto Sanchez. So, and he's only exciting really prospect in this roster. So I think it's the most difficult team to turn around, to be honest, within the major league. I think it's a team which is in a division with the Phillies and National. Phillies now are a real force. So there are more difficult divisions, but obviously they are really the weakest team in the league. Some may argue Detroit or Baltimore are weaker. I don't think so. I think those teams have more talent than the Marlins. The Marlins, they have nothing. So how are we going to turn this around? So obviously it's not going to be a quick fix, I think. So I have a rule to play game, but I will play and sim games, but still play a significant number of games because I enjoy playing. I know some people, they want to rebuild the Marlins, they sim everything, they tank, they try to get high draft pick, make good draft pick. Of course we want to do that, we want to run multiple seasons. We are going to try to do that at least a season, see if we can get a season playing 40, 50, 60 games, 40, 60 games, something like that. Take a couple of months probably to do that, and then run an off season, see what we get, where we land. So how are we going to turn this team? So first of all, everything is pretty much to be rebuilt. So if we start by the pitching staff, and more specifically by the rotation, so I have moved back Wei Yin Chen to a starting role. He was a reliever, so with his contract and all that as well, I forgot to say, it's a realistic build. So we'll play with micro sliders. We will not sign any coach before the off season. Well, the staff anyway, it's pretty good, and I like a lot Don Mattingly. I think he's a good coach and he's a baseball legend. So we are not looking to, we are going to basically take the bad now, so the blame now. So I don't see it quick. So we are going to not make any trade which is not realistic. Prado, for instance, yeah, we don't trade him because look, he's no talent. So normally no team would trade him 13 million a year. So CPU would trade him. So we don't use that quick shop trading. So we want to really make it a realistic rebuild. Try to, as much as we can, with the tools we have at our disposal. So the way we are going to fix it is, some would say, okay, we build a pitching staff, focus on defense. You know what, I don't know, to be honest, because obviously you depend as well of what you can draft. So we have a high pick in the coming draft, pick number 4. We will likely have a high pick the next draft. So what we get with those picks is quite important to drive what we do. Obviously the rotation has to be improved. So this year the rotation will be starting by, sorry, I keep forgetting, injuries will be a factor because I have increased injury slider to 9. So at the beginning, without injuries, these 5 gentlemen are the rotation for me to start with. Caleb Smith, Sandy Alcantara, Wei Yin Chen, Trevor Richard, Jose Urina. So with those guys, I think Urena is not good at all. Trevor Richard could stay in the lineup, to be honest, for a few years. Wei Yin, we are going to hit his contract and let him go. Caleb Smith is potentially could be still there in a couple of years. Alcantara as well. Behind that, we have Lopez, who is playing when someone will get injured. Then Hernandez, and that's it pretty much. Yeah, they have that Guzman, but he see potential, not sure he can turn. Cody Petit, very low H and K per 9, so it's a long way for him. And Brigham. That are the few prospects you have behind Sixto. Sixto, 20-year-old, is going to play a couple of seasons in the minors, probably calling me up, not this year for sure. Maybe next season if things go well for him, but we'll see. The bullpen is probably the worst part of the team. So I did sign one free agent, Santiago Casilla, former Oakland Athletics. Pretty good. So I did sign him because really we had nothing. So Sergio Romo is coming from the Tampa Bay Rays. Yeah, we'll see. I don't see him as really being a force. Tam Conde will be a lefty specialist. Bryce is going to probably, with his low HNK, he will not be much helpful. Jalin Garcia, yeah, we are going to try to keep him in the lineup, see where it goes, but much hope. Same for Teron. So you see a lot of relievers that will be depth material in most of the team, except Santiago Casilla. Eventually Romo, all the rest is really weak. Our closer will be Steckenrieder, who is our best reliever. Plain and simple. He's pretty good, so no problem with him. When it comes to the lineup, Alfaro is quite an exciting catcher with his strong arm, decent bat, good speed. So I think his glove, only 60 blocking, could be a problem, but I think we'll live with it. Behind him there is nobody, no one. So yeah, if he gets hurt, we are really in trouble. Neil Walker will play first base most of the time. We'll keep Brado and Cooper in the roster, which will play different position, but Walker will be the first base. Cooper will play against lefty for sure on the left field. Prado will play against righties as a third baseman. Castro is a guy we have to make a call on, like most GM taking the Marlins. He's a contract years. We are going to as well apply specific rule to resign players to keep it realistic, because CPU accepts pretty much nonsense contracts. So Starlin Castro is a player we should likely trade. The problem is we will then play second base, but in a year like this one we probably then move Anderson to second base, and or we move Rojas to second base, and we live with it. So Castro is likely trading material. I think he's our only trading material, to be honest. We have nothing much to trade else because we want to keep Steckenrieder. Romo, maybe, but don't see much value in him. The pitchers, none of them is really good. So yeah, I think Cooper, same. So the player who can develop will not get much out of a trade for him. So Castro is likely the only player we can get something exciting from. When I say exciting, again, we'll not cheat the CPU. We'll take only items from his block, plus we'll not trade any higher prospect from the CPU if the team is not in a win now mode, and still we'll be quite cautious. Brian Anderson is only a good young exciting player in the lineup. Can play third base or at the corner of the outfield. A potential, very good defender, pretty good hitter, so good player. That's a good player. TT Rydell, we are going to try to develop him, a lefty shortstop, decent defender. Rojas has a ridiculous arm strength to play short stop, so we'll see how we can use him either as shortstop when we mostly more as a second baseman. where his arm strength will be less of an issue. When it comes to infielder prospects, well, as I said, pretty much nothing. Isan Diaz is one. Lefty, 22-year-old, still a long way from getting a call to play in the big league. I did sign Robert Pearson from FA. Yeah, he could eventually. He has a potential, that's the only thing, but also he's still as well a long way away from role in the major. When it comes to outfielding, it's all journeyman. So Curtis Granderson is the only real power hitter we have. He's a lefty as well. He will be a starter at the left field. Will be at the fourth spot of the lineup against righties. So a guy we will really have a close look on. Hopefully he can stay healthy, because if he go down, we will lose two things: precious left-handed bat, and his power. His power is quite important for us. Guerrero is not too far from being able to play in the major. That's about it for there. Center field is a big issue. Herrera is a utility guy, which we will play with Brinson. Yeah, a lot has been said about him. O'Brien is a young player as well, a low experience player from Arizona, Diamondbacks, and basically he's as well a player who can bring some power, especially against lefties. So he will play against lefties, but his vision, for me, it's tough to give him an everyday role. In terms of prospects on the outfield, Mesa is supposed to be the hottest profile. We'll see what it goes, because he's really far from being ready in my view. And Sierra could eventually develop, but again, yeah, as well, good speed, but so much tool are missing. Morrison, a few guys which, or Austin Dean, a few guys which are at the doorstep of overall. So that's our roster. So we'll start the season, play a few games, and see where we are in a couple of in-week games. Thank you all for watching and listening, and I wish you all a good long weekend for Easter. Peace.